Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick and I'm here with Captain Joey Stone, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Joey.
John, how you doing?
Doing great. It's been a while since we've had you on the show.
It has been a while.
So, but you've been busy, and so have all your deputies. Let's take a look at the count real quick. Tell us what we got.
We got 3 more to add to our count this week, and that's all thanks to the citizens of Calhoun County. You know, keep calling in those tips. You know, if somebody's on our Most Wanted and you see them out, give us a call, 236-6600, and we'll send a deputy out to pick them up and try to get these guys off the street.
You call, they haul. Closing in on that 5,000 person number.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Getting close, getting close. So the citizens support the Sheriff's Office by calling in on the Crime Stoppers tip and, of course, on our lineup, but they can also support the Sheriff's Office in a new way coming up here. So
That's
tell
right.
us about that.
Well, we've got an event coming up. The Sheriff's Office, the deputies actually have their own association. It's called the Calhoun County Deputy Sheriff's Association, and we're doing a sporting clay shoot. It's called Shooting with the Sheriff.
Shooting with the Sheriff. I like
And
that.
it's going to be at the CMP in Talladega on April the 9th. And, you know, we're looking for corporate sponsors. We're looking for individuals can come. I think we got a max on our shooters. I think it's 60 people. So, you know, you can, the information's on Facebook. You know, you can check it out, kind of see what the price range is, you know.
Super.
And what you got to do to come and support the deputy sheriffs and their association. And we, you know, they have a range, and they maintain that range with these funds and do things like that. Try to give back when they can. You know, it's not a huge organization, so it's a small organization. So this is kind of a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser
for them.
Fundraiser for the DSA, and you can get out there and do some shooting with the sheriff. But right now, we want you to pay attention to the first half of our lineup, and we'll be back with a really interesting guest here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up in our lineup this week, Al Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana first, bribing a public servant, and delivering and selling drug paraphernalia. And this is Forrest Holloway. Ms. Holloway, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for probation violation on possession of a controlled substance. And meet Landon Snyder. Mr. Snyder, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted on a probation violation of robbery first, theft of property first, and possession of a controlled substance. Take a look at Clifford McDonald. Mr. McDonald, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted on a failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance. And meet Lonnie Mosley. Mr. Mosley, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted on a probation violation for manufacture of a controlled substance. And this is Lindsay Ham. Ms. Ham, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana first and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Meet Tammy Varden. Ms. Varden, last known to be living in Ohatchee, she's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance, failure to appear in possession of marijuana first, possession of a controlled substance, illegal possession of prescription drugs, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody you know in that half of the lineup, and if you do, give the Sheriff's Office a call, or Crime Stoppers, you call, they haul. We're here with Ted Embry, my old friend Ted Embry, who is now no longer, you know, a full-time preacher, no longer working full-time at RMC, no longer running the Baptist Children's Home. You retired from that, and now you're a team leader at the Cheaha Crisis Management Team.
That is true.
So tell
Thank
us,
you.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Joey kind of knows what that is, but our viewers don't. Tell us what the Cheaha Crisis Management Team is.
Thank you, John. You have been a champion for supporting those in public safety and providing support for them. And when we first met, that's where you were. Mm-hmm. You would have known us in the earlier days as a Cheaha Crisis Management Team. Mm-hmm. And as that team, it's a volunteer team consisting of mental health professionals and peers, such as Joey and law enforcement, or possibly Captain Herg with the fire department, assistant chief of the fire department, or Sam Hazel, who was with the Oxford Fire Department, and now with the Anniston Army Depot. So the model, John, is to combine mental health professionals with peers who understand the world, the pressures that you face every day as a part of the job that you're committed to and the service you provide our communities. And so that's the core of the team. So,
Yeah, so you respond, you know, the important thing, and Joey knows this from being in law enforcement for decades, there's both cumulative stress and critical incident stress in first responder professions. It's the critical incident stress that is what can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. And much of that disorder comes from buried memories that must be resurrected and dealt with emotionally to heal.
Right.
So what your team does, one of the things your team does, my favorite thing, is the diffusing.
right.
So tell us what a diffusing is like.
That's one of the tools in our toolbox, which is, we call it on scene, where we are engaged with only those who saw it, felt it, smelt it, heard it, experienced it, those who were impacted by it in an intense way. And so we isolate that from those who might be curious and interested individuals. But it's a model that's designed to respond within 8 hours, maybe 24 hours, in a very safe place, very confidential, to address the stress. The way I talk about it, in public safety, whether it's EMS, fire, law enforcement, you deal with tragic events every day. That's a part of the work. It's just tragic events. But occasionally there'll be that critical incident which rises to a different level, and it's powerful, it's strong. It has the ability to stay with you and kind of get caught up, and we say it's possible to get hung up at that point. And so if someone gets hung up, our desire is for them not to do that, but know that it's a pathway to get through that and beyond that to the other side. And so we can do that in a very effective way. Diffusion is a 3-stage model of intervention. It consists of an introduction where we set the ground rules, confidentiality, not assessing the event, but helping the individuals, and then an exploration of what took place. And then the most important thing is at the end we do what we call teaching, helping to identify what are some of the signs and symptoms that are common. The most important thing we do, John, is to help these individuals know that what they experience is normal. It's absolutely normal to experience intrusive images or grief or guilt or whatever the symptom might be, but that's very normal, and to help them understand that.
Yeah, that's very important so that people can go home. You know, Joey, you know what it's like. We all do. You go home and you don't sleep well, and you may be irritated, and it's important to normalize that for everybody, and send some worksheets home for the family.
Right.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back after the second half of our lineup, still talking to Mr. Ted Embry of the Cheaha Crisis Management Team. Stay with us here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Albert Teague. Mr. Teague, last known to be living in Weaver, he's wanted for theft of property third by deception. And this is Kenneth Bushy. Mr. Bushy, last known to be living in Weaver, he's wanted for failure to appear and obstruction of justice by using a false identity. And take a look at Clarissa Williams. Miss Williams, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And have a look at Matthew Waits. Mr. Waits, last known to be living in East Avoga, he's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Allison Mars. Miss Mars, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted on a probation violation for theft of property first. take a look at Roy Waddell. Mr. Waddell, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for a probation violation on possession of a controlled substance. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you know the whereabouts of these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 1-833-251-7867. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup where you know where they are. And if you do, call that Crime Stoppers number. We're here with Ted Embry of the Cheaha Crisis Management Team.
Yes, sir.
So talking about how you guys get involved with first responders, fire, EMS, law enforcement, and kind of help them deal with a traumatic situation, crisis situation. Can involve one or two people or a whole team. As Joey and I have been on teams that have been through that very thing.
Right.
And it's very helpful.
Right.
So tell us, how somebody who might be interested in actually serving on a team.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Because what we do is we recruit quality people with great resumes that have an awareness of the stressors and also have a reputation of being people serving and compassionate and also willing to face reality in an open and honest way. So the model is to combine a mental health professional such as yourself or myself and a peer of those who were on the scene. And so to become a part of the team, you would simply contact me and I can give you my phone number or contact the chaplain's office at RMC. And we are always recruiting good members. We're a volunteer organization. There's no cost to any intervention that we provide. If we are invited, we go under invitation. We don't self-deploy. We wait until someone asks us to come, and then we respond. And so we'll take a team in and do our intervention and then quietly go about our business.
You're still working under the auspices of the International
Critical Incident Stress Foundation.
Yes. Yeah. So ICISF has training.
They do.
Various different levels of training. So if you're interested in working on a team such as this and interested in joining the ICISF, you can. And they have some really remarkable trainings.
They do.
For mental health professionals, counselors in particular. Some of it's a review, but it is powerful. And you can specialize in first responders, school crises,
Absolutely.
And various other things, I think.
Absolutely, you do. We have our next course is scheduled March 8th and 9th on advanced group intervention. That'll be coming up in a few weeks. But absolutely, so bringing in, we began, as you know, with public safety, but we also understand stress is no respect of persons. There are many times it happens in a school setting where there's a school that's impacted. And so we have school interventions. The impact of stress is the same, though the stressors are different. Joey, what you experience and what a teacher experiences are very different stressors, but how it shows up, the stress within the home, the broken marriages, alcohol, substance abuse, those stressors are the same. Though the stressors are different, the impact is the same.
Right, and the way our lower brain responds to trauma or critical incidents is pretty much universal, and how that affects you when you're no longer in that incident is what you guys work with on a daily basis. Very important for preventing the disorder part of post-traumatic stress.
Right.
And it's not for the faint-of-hearted to be on your team.
No, it is a very strategic team that's well designed. The model began in 1997, so it's been around about 25 years. And it's evolved through the years, as all things tend to do, and broadened the base a little bit. But the core is still the same. They have a model, a safe arm model for one-on-one intervention, which you can walk one officer through an event, or maybe a paramedic through an event that's gotten hung up, and help them walk through that on a well-worn path towards wellness and making sure they don't get hung up.
So other than being, from the first responder public safety realm, of course being some form of a mental health professional, other than counselors and
Right.
law enforcement or public safety, what other types of folks are joining your team?
We have a strong contingency of nurses. 3 of our peers are former heads of nursing departments for RMC, Stringfellow, with tremendous resumes. We have an outstanding group of educators who have joined our team and bring that possibility to our team that we could respond to a school event in a very critical way.
Well, super. These teams are vital. Joey, we've used them, I know,
Absolutely.
a couple of times anyway. I mean, you and I have been on one together
Right.
During the Battle of Virgil Drive back in the day, one of those two. Very important for handling the traumatic stress that's associated with first responders. You guys have made a huge difference in the lives of those in public safety that are experiencing trauma and go home to be with their families. So if you're interested in joining the Cheaha Crisis Management Team, what's the phone number?
The phone number is 256-282-9573.
So call them and, volunteer your services. It's a great team, does a lot of good work, not for the faint-hearted. But if you're interested, give Ted Embry a call. And if you're still interested, stay with us because we've got our Crime Stoppers portion of the show and the Crazy Criminal coming up. So stay with us here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show. One case this week, so focus hard on it. On December 28th, a white male entered a MAPCO in Alexandria around 5 p.m. and is now a person of interest. Please help in identifying this person in the photo below. If you have any information on that person, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Joey, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's Crazy Criminal time!
I figured it was.
So, take us there, Skitch.
Well, this past week in Chattanooga, Tennessee, a man and a woman, they were arrested for shoplifting and possession of marijuana. And what they shoplifted was 57 blocks of cheese.
Cheese.
Yes.
Formerly from
So,
Wisconsin, this couple.
yeah, well,
Are they related?
I think they were boyfriend and girlfriend, if I'm not mistaken.
They have that same tilt
Yeah,
to
so
their
I don't
lifestyle.
know what you're doing with 57 blocks of cheese or how you think you'd get away with it.
I
But, it'd be kind of hard to conceal, I believe.
I
But
think so. Blocks of cheese.
Yeah.
So what crime is that? What is that?
I guess it's
Shoplifting?
shoplifting, yeah.
Shoplifting with a forklift because 57 blocks of cheese.
More than likely.
Load that in the trunk, honey. Let's leave quickly. Head north to Wisconsin because that's where they're going to go. They've got to be related somehow. It's just a strange little tilt. So, we've got the Shooting with the Sheriff coming up.
That's correct.
April 9th, is that what it is?
April 9th,
April 9th,
so-
but they need to register now. They need to buy the tickets, company sponsors, individual sponsors, $100 per shooter, I think I remember seeing, right?
Yeah, for individual shooters was $100. Now let's say we're going to have some corporate sponsors.
Corporate
too.
sponsors up to $500.
So
Get your name out there. Where do they go to get that? Where do they sign up?
You can sign up online. I believe they look at Facebook and go through our Facebook page,
Okay.
and you can sign up there. And then we also have flyers at the sheriff's office, but this is for the DSA.
So it's for the DSA, so you can go down to the sheriff's office, get a flyer. You can probably get is there a link on the sheriff's office page to that maybe?
I have to check, or maybe on the DSA's website.
DSA, Deputy
Facebook.
Sheriff's, Calhoun County DSA, or Calhoun County Deputy Sheriff's Association. Great organization, works with and for the deputies, both active and retired here in Calhoun County, and run the range. They support our range. Good program. So get out there and do some shooting with the sheriff.
right.
Joey will be there. Joey's a heck of a shot too. I'm not so good at clays.
I'm not so good at clays either. But it's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun.
It is fun if you're using somebody else's ammo. So go to the Sheriff's Office webpage. You can tune in and see reruns of this show on YouTube, both at TV24 and the Sheriff's Office page. We hope that you saw somebody in the lineup and can help us with the Crime Stoppers cases, and we certainly hope that you tune in with us next week and we see you, but hopefully not again, not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.